Peter Cirigliano. As you worked out the city budget for next year at your meeting of June 24th, I was very interested to hear Councilmember Meyering say the budget includes money for a pay raise for every single council member and money to pay 100% of the increased costs for council members to have full vision, dental, health insurance, and lastly, money to pay the increased costs for retired city council members to have lifetime medical reimbursement, which was consistent with his public statement that other council members have received excessive compensation, medical benefits, and retirement, whereas he alone is looking out for us taxpayers and making sure that council members are not being unduly enriched at taxpayer expense. So I obtained the actual compensation information and was surprised to find that Councilmember Meyering accepts the second highest amount of taxpayer-funded compensation out of the 7 of you. In 18 months, that's a total of over $64,000, which is over 1.5 times what someone like Griffith gets, even with his premium for being mayor and more years on the council and more optional cost of living raises. What is more, as one of the council members who was on board during the switchover to even year elections, he would not have to get reelected to get the 5 years of service required to vest in the CalPERS retirement system. So while he declares to the public that he is the only one watching out for our interests, he is privately collecting more money from us than all but one of you, and will get a pension and medical benefits for life if he stays in office for his full term. I was also amazed to hear Councilmember Meyering declare that the city should have paid off an unnamed citizen who filed a personal injury lawsuit that was thrown out of court rather than defending it as the city did. Mr. Meyering never ever once mentioned that he was the person who sued the city for personal injury. I agree with the council member that the $83,000 that the city had to spend defending itself against one of its own council members was a waste of taxpayer money, but not because the city chose to fight a bogus lawsuit, but rather than to cave in to public extortion. It was a waste because Councilmember Meyering sued the city without any legitimate reason, as the judge ruled. Councilmember Meyering essentially sued himself, and we all got stuck with the bill. I was amazed to hear him say with a straight face that an innocent citizen was somehow hurt. We were all hurt by his attempt to shake us down, and it's incredible that he has no remorse for this or any of its other stunts. Councilmember, you are a disgrace. Mr. Mayor, this is part of the public comments. Although Mr. Meyering doesn't seem to understand this point, this is the part of the meeting designed for council members to listen to the citizens, not the other way around. We are not required to take the third degree from a hostile attorney. Councilmember Meyering has already treated me rudely when I have spoken at prior meetings, and I have no intentions to listen to his abuse tonight. Thank you.
Councilmember Meyering.
Right. These speakers that come up and make false statements about council members are orchestrated by the council majority, because the council majority is unwilling to accept.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
I don't believe that this is appropriate commentary for this spot.
Mr. Hendricks, why don't you wait your turn? I'm listening to your comments.
A point of order always has precedence.
It is my understanding of the process where we're at right here that this would be inappropriate commentary to be responding back, that we're not supposed to be commenting back to the speakers that are here.
No, a point of order is a personal slur on a council member that's orchestrated by the council majority. So I want to complete my statement, and that statement is that the residents are entitled to have an alternate point of view presented on the city council. There's been a number of issues where the downtown development is at a fiasco stage and has been for years because council members took money from the developer. And when people point that out, the majority of the council becomes extremely agitated. I've never taken $64,000 in salary from the city of Sunnyvale. That's an outright false statement. I've never said I was the only one protecting residents of the city of Sunnyvale. There's many people that are working together to try and improve life in Sunnyvale. With regard to the lawsuit, the claim was filed pursuant to the instruction from the city manager's office. After the council member voted against a pay raise and bonus for the city manager, the claim was denied. There's many different aspects of that, but suffice it to say This council majority orchestrates people coming up to smear a council member with false statements instead of focusing the council meeting
Okay,
on
at
the
this
issues.
point, I need to cut you off. You are violating the code of ethics by making charges that have no basis in fact.
No,
You
I-
need to
I
stop
complete my
immediately.
statement.
There is no basis for saying whatsoever
I'm
that any
explaining the
council
basis.
member here
I am
had
explaining it,
anything
Mr.
to do with
Griffith.
the speaker coming forward.
Your style is to interrupt somebody who disagrees with you.
This is the first time since I've been mayor that I've interrupted you, so
No,
that's
it is not.
another false statement.
We should
Please
be
stick to
talking
the point
about,
and
for instance,
conclude your
the
remarks.
issues concerning the homeless shelter, where the report says that we're going to put it on the information only. We're not going to allow the council to discuss it or take action because it's going to be objected to as not being on the agenda. So instead, we have this orchestration, and it's clear evidence of it, where an individual from the community is asked to come up and smear a council member. That shows a level of immaturity that's holding back Sunnyvale. The statements are false. We need to focus on the issues, and that's what this majority is so opposed to, because their position on the issues does not reflect the will of the majority of the residents.
At this point, public comments are closed.